Posh in Progress. I'm back with another recipe for you. Today we're making cranberry orange cookies, which are perfect for the holidays or winter time. So to start, we're gonna have 3/4 cup butter softened. I did do mine in the microwave for about 15 seconds just to soften it up. And then we're doing 2/3 cup granulated sugar. And then I'm gonna beat that. I'm gonna beat this until light and fluffy, about 2 minutes. This is 2 minutes of beating. Just wanna show you how light and fluffy that looks. Now we're adding 1 egg. And then our next ingredient is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I do use pure vanilla extract, it's the best. Now we're gonna beat this until incorporated. Next we're adding 2 cups of flour. I'm getting low on my bag. Make sure you don't pack it in there. I wanna make sure it's loosely packed, which is why I tap the side of my bag when I am adding cups of flour. I learned this early on. I over added flour and then you end up with super dry cookies. 2 cups of flour. And then it's a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which is not too much. So it's actually too much. Let me throw some of that away. And we're gonna beat this on a low speed. I'm actually gonna just incorporate it a little bit so my flour doesn't fly out of the bowl. This is what the dough looks like before I add the last few ingredients. Our last 2 ingredients are dried cranberries. This recipe calls for 3/4 cup. This is what's gonna give us those nice wintry holiday flavors. And then orange zest. Calls for 1 teaspoon. Depends how orangey you like it, but I like mine with a little orange kick. And the zest is where a lot of that orange flavor comes in. I'm linking to all the products I use over on poshinprogress.com, so you can shop things like this microplane, the metal bowls I use, the metal measuring spoons I use. I've had them for like more than a decade. They're so amazing. Can you see all that beautiful orange zest in there? And I'm just gonna mix it all around. I have a slightly floured surface here. I'm actually gonna roll my dough out. Always have a little flour on hand so it doesn't stick. And we're gonna make this into 2 logs that we're gonna chill for up to 3 to 5 hours. You can actually chill it several days in advance if you do wanna make this in advance. I'm gonna show you my 2 logs. They're not perfect, but they're very similar in shape. So I'm gonna refrigerate those for 3 to 5 hours. So you can see it's nighttime and I've changed. What I have here is some white shimmer sugar, which I'm gonna put all over this plate. And then my cookies have been chilling for several hours. You can see it's a nice hard log, and you're gonna roll your cookies right in that sugar. Now we're gonna slice the cookies into 1/2-inch pieces. Place them on my parchment lined baking sheet and bake them at 350 for 12 to 15 minutes until just slightly browned. This roll is gonna make just about a dozen cookies. It's actually 14. I'm gonna stick those in the oven. My first ones are out of the oven. You can see them, they look so pretty. So these were in there for 12 minutes. I think possibly I could have left them in like 1 or 2 minutes longer, but I didn't want them to get too browned. So I didn't want them to overcook, and you can see the edges are already browned. So we're gonna let these cool completely, and then once they're cooled, I'm going to put a orange glaze on the top, which will add just a little more sweetness because this recipe is not super sweet, actually. We're almost finished. Last major step, I'm going to sift my powdered sugar so it's not clumpy. It's kind of a step I just think makes for a better glaze. So we're doing 1 cup of powdered sugar. And then once that's all sifted through, then we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of liquid. So you can use orange juice, which goes really well with what's already in the cookies. I'm actually gonna use, I think, almond milk because I want mine to just be a super sweet glaze. I don't necessarily want more orange flavor, but it's really up to you. You can use water too. We're just adding liquid to make a glaze. When you're adding your liquid, always err on the side of under. So I'm just gonna start with 1 tablespoon of almond milk and see how that goes. I don't want it to be too runny because it won't stay on the cookies. So you can always add more, but I don't want to have a ton of glaze, so I'm just gonna start with 1 tablespoon. Tiny little spoon and just drizzle right on top of the cookie. And we actually want the glaze as much as possible to stay right on top of the cookie, not on the sides, like a lot of times you'll see with glazes. If you head over to poshandprogress.com, you can get the entire recipe. Make sure to like and subscribe and tell me what type of recipe you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching.